everyone. Welcome to Pod Maverick After Dark. I'm Kirk Anderson, joined by Josh Bowe. We are coming to you. It is Thursday night, March 5th. The Dallas Mavericks just lost to the Orlando Magic 115 to 114. Josh, how you doing?
Doing okay. That was certainly a Mavs game. If anyone's been watching this season, that was nice for the Mavs, though. If somehow you avoided watching every single game up until tonight, the Mavericks were like, don't worry about it. We'll catch you up. Here's a game in which this is literally the season.
The whole season.
Yeah. The whole season in this game. It was pretty funny. Yeah.
So we got Cooper Flagg back tonight. That's kind of the overarching thing that we should lead with. But I think we have to talk about the ending of the game first and then probably work our way backwards. The Mavericks go up. So I was laughing. Let me just read you this. Cooper Flagg finishes with 20 in 26 minutes. The pregame expectation was he will play 20 to 25 minutes. And so, of course, he extends that. And it's just Jason, like, I knew from the moment they put that minutes limit on him, Jason Kidd would play him past that. Anyway, it's the first time we've seen him since before All-Star break. He apparently sprained his foot against the Phoenix Suns. Nobody can seem to know when that happened, though. That's neither here nor there, but it's been essentially a month, very close to it. And I was delighted to be able to see Cooper Flagg play basketball, and we're going to talk about him probably at length here, but it's worth discussing, like, essentially the final minute of the game. Was it a minute? Cooper Flagg gets the Mavericks make a series of great defensive plays. Did they block Wendell Carter Jr., or was it Paolo Banchero that led to the Cooper and one?
That was Wendell.
Okay, so Wendell Carter Jr. gets what should have been like a put away, like dunk. And the Mavericks swarm him off after an offensive rebound. They block him. Cooper Flagg takes the ball down and gets a pass and scores another truly highlight reel, like career highlight reel and one at the rim where he meets Wendell Carter Jr. And honestly, I don't really know where the foul was on Wendell Carter Jr. It was classic verticality to me, but Cooper Flagg just hammered into him and then hits him so hard and adjusts with his touch. Like, I was just flabbergasted that this ball went down because he was freight training at the rim and gets a really tough shot to go. The Mavs were up by 1 before this shot. That made it 3, and a free throw makes it 4. So it's 114 to 110. And the Mavericks, there's about 30 seconds left. The Magic, it's about a minute left. Excuse me. Magic,
when he made the free throw, there was 37. I got it up to play by play. 37.3 seconds when Coop made the one free throw.
So the Magic call timeout. Immediately out of the timeout, Jalen Suggs gets just comically wide open. So wide open that he didn't want to shoot it. Like, he made 2 or 3 pass fakes and then was like, fuck, I got to shoot this. Drills the 3. At that point, there is roughly 30 seconds left on the clock. I remember this now. The Mavericks take it up. Cooper gets the mismatch, the switch that he wants. And I think it was over Desmond Bane. Takes a great 12-foot jumper, the kind of shot we've seen him make all season long. It rolls loose, and the Magic push the ball at the floor, don't call a timeout, which I think absolutely stunned the Mavericks. That was, I think, a big part of what happened next. Jalen Suggs kind of gets a free rein down the court. They don't really do much to slow the ball down. Drives a little bit, draws just enough help. Somehow Wendell Carter Jr. is rolling to the basket with 3 Mavericks players in the vicinity, but somehow still dunks the ball with about a second and a half left because that put the Magic up 115 to 114. The Mavericks have the last second inbounds play, and I don't even remember who threw the inbounds pass, but it was atrocious, and the ball rolled out of bounds. Game over.
Yeah. I just looked it up. ESPN does their, they've got their prediction models or whatever,
where it goes like 100% down to 0 or something.
After Cooper Flagg made that free throw to put the Mavericks up 4 with 37, about 37 seconds left, ESPN had the Mavericks as an 87% chance of winning the game. You could not draw up a better way. Like, that was impressive. Those two defensive possessions to end the game, where they run away from a good 3-point shooter with the ball in his hands at the 3-point line, and then give up a wide open dunk. Like, obviously, I'm not implying that the Mavericks threw the game. I'm not, but like, you couldn't have drawn up a better defensive sequence if it was like, how are you going to lose the game? I don't know. Run away from good 3-point shooters. Leave the rim runner wide open on a pick and roll. But yeah, you're right about the Magic not calling a timeout. I think that was huge because the Mavericks had their offensive personnel on the floor, like Chris Middleton. We're still on the floor, and if you watch that dunk, the game-winning dunk, I mean, it was a pick and roll involving Gafford and Klay Thompson. Like, if you
attack two guys, that's the two.
Right, exactly. And it's no surprise that you see them, Klay kind of gets wiped out on that screen. He's not even involved in the play. Gafford comes really far up, which is kind of shocking because he doesn't usually play that far up. And I guess the Mavericks were, it was a scramble situation and there wasn't enough time to get the help defense to come over, and Gafford came way too but again, to Gafford, like, he came that far up because Klay was wiped out of the play. Like, Klay wasn't in the play. Like, if he doesn't come that far up, it's a pull-up jumper. But then again, you take a pull-up jumper over a dunk attempt. I think you take your chances on a Magic player shooting a pull-up jumper in the final seconds compared to giving a wide open dunk. But that's what happens when you're in a scramble situation. I mean, don't give up the three. Like, that was kind of the game. Like, they gave up the three and that changed everything. Like, if you even hold them to a 2 there, like, it changes the complexion of the game dramatically, or at least make him work for it. Like, Suggs inbounded the ball and they like ran away. Like, he got that 3 within a couple of seconds. Like, it was just like butterfly effect. Like, just anything happened a little bit differently, the Mavericks probably win. But they do everything that ensured them to lose all in a row there with those final 40 seconds.
And I left a comment up earlier from a regular viewer here at Mavs Hive Mind. He says that last play, and I'm assuming he means the one to Cooper Flagg, was suspiciously bad. And my comment to this is, I've watched Jason Kidd make very shitty end of game plays for going on 5 years now, however long he's been coach. I don't remember very many good Jason Kidd at final second plays. And there's
1.4 left. I mean,
right. But there's always something that's stuck in my head whenever Draymond Green called out that Kidd had one out of bounds play and he knew that what they were going to run. And it's always the same thing. That's fine. It's not like, if this was a game where the Mavericks were cruising, or they're in the play-in or something, it would feel a lot different. I think if you're a fan out there that really wants to see the Mavericks win a game, just to sort of bring some energy back into the viewing experience, I get that. I was fully prepared to come in here and give a bit of a soliloquy of the Mavericks can't lose every game. Like, they just can't. They're going to win some games. And I follow some younger fans on
this schedule to close the season, they might not win.
Jesus. And it's tough because they're, you said something to this effect in the Slack of this is pretty amazing to watch Cooper and a bunch of 35-year-olds essentially ruin the tank because these guys are just too good. They're too talented. And that didn't happen tonight. It's going to happen. And I follow, I follow a lot of younger Mavs fans, very clearly, folks that are in their 20s that enjoy engaging and having a good time. And I guess I've just been through this element of sports fandom enough times now to not get mad at it anymore. And I get mad at everything. And so I'm just suggesting that if you're really banking on lottery odds, number one, familiarize yourself with the actual lottery odds. Moving from 6th to 7th is not.
Yeah. And the Mavericks are pretty they're not really going anywhere. I mean, even if they lose, seriously,
there's a chance for them to get to 6th. They're not getting higher than 6 worse
even
odds.
If they lose, they play, I don't know, if they lose 90% of the remaining schedule, they might move up one spot in the lottery.
Right.
The other teams are just too bad and too far below them for the Mavericks to make up any ground.
Right.
But good Lord, their schedule, I don't think they're going to be favored in another game
They have 2 games against teams the rest of the way that aren't teams that are play-in or higher.
Yeah.
And it's the Bulls on the very last day of the season, and then they play
New Orleans.
That's going to be like the
and
ultimate.
Honestly, New Orleans is playing better than them in the last 2 weeks. I mean, give or take. I mean,
yeah, give or take.
It's all relative.
Kind of like it's the old Seinfeld hallway slap fight.
Yeah. But yeah, this game was funny. I mean, this game, I don't want to go to a break yet because I thought it was funny because I don't know if you remember in the summer, we're trying to fill time and we're doing podcasts. We're talking about stuff. I had a pretty ridiculous hot take that I thought this Mavericks team would have more wins than the Magic this season.
I remember that. Yeah, it's one of your, yeah.
And obviously I was super wrong, super duper like crazy wrong.
You were wrong. A Maverick side of it, but not the Magic.
I know. I was going to say, I feel a little vindication even with the Mavericks losing this game because man, and again, it's that thing I talked about. The prism of the NBA, it's viewed through the prism of the Mavericks. The NBA is for me. So I have a bias in that I only watch really the games that other teams play against the Mavericks. I don't watch Magic games outside of this. So I don't, I watch them 2-3 times a year.
Right.
So obviously I don't, I'm biased in the sense that when they play crappy against the Mavericks, I just assume they stink. So that's part of it. But also I think they kind of stink. Like, holy crap. Like the fact that they were in a dogfight with this roster tonight and they're supposed to be, even without Franz, I mean, they still have Black, Suggs, Bane, Carter. I mean, they had everyone pretty much except Franz.
They're just a terrible team. None of these guys impress. Like, I like Anthony Black for very specific reasons, but he had a bad game. Suggs had an okay game that was redeemed by the end of the Desmond Bane, another former Mavs all-star. We love him, but he didn't have a good game. Wendell Carter Jr., I guess, did fine. Paolo, that team being tethered to Paolo, I would be having an existential crisis if I was a Magic fan because I saw someone refer to him as like one of the most unethical hoopers of all time. Like, listen to the stat line: 16 points on 17 shots, 7 of 17 from the floor, 1 of 6 from 3, only 2 free throws. Considering how he plays, that's really embarrassing. 12 boards, 6 assists, but also 6 turnovers. And so it's just like he finishes with a plus-minus of 0. That is incredibly hard to do. I get that it's a 1-point game, 1-point win, but it's just watching him play made me feel real gross. Just real gross.
No, he does just enough to tantalize you. He'll have a 35, 36 point game and you're like, here it is. And then he'll go, he's kind of is he like the Anthony Davis of wings?
Or fake bigs? I don't even know what he is. What position?
Yeah, but just when he's good, he's good. But then when he's bad, he feels like he's either really good or really bad.
Yeah, and
he's not steady. Like, you look at his box score, and it's just again, the game right before he played the Mavericks, he had 37 points on 21 shots, and then and then he'll go 2 games shooting under 40% from the field, and then he'll have another blow up game. So. He's obviously talented. I mean, it's more the Magic. Just they build this weird, they're kind of like the Mavericks. They just don't believe in point guards. They don't believe in shooting and offense. That's why they made the big trade for Bane, and that's still kind of not enough. And Black is fun, and Suggs is fun, but they really need a legitimate playmaking, set the tone, set the table point guard. And they don't really have that. Maybe Ben Sherritt would be better if he played with a really steady actual, someone that's setting him up instead of they keep trying to force feed him into this. You're our heliocentric hub, Paolo. And it's is he? Maybe he needs to be more off ball. He'd still be your best player, but they need more table setters for sure. But yeah, typical Mavericks game. They fight their asses off. The vets play well. I mean, Clay heater.
Clay was again, that Clay. We'll talk about that second half.
Yeah, you want to talk about that? Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, shout out to Tristan DeSilva, 7 of 7 from the floor and causing Mark Followell to lose his mind on the broadcast with all the shots he was making. I mean, it really was. It was really something else.
That pick and roll where he was coming off the screen after he made a 3, and the Mavericks were like, "Don't let him shoot a 3," and he faked it and then faked the pass and had that little floater. I think that was the
little floater. That was a high floater. I was like, holy cow.
That was impressive.
That was really something. I enjoyed that. Okay, three things you can do to support our podcast if you want to do that, and then a fourth thing if you want to support me. First, listen to the ads. That's how Josh and I get paid. We keep forgetting that we get paid once a quarter by our company, and so every now and again money will show up, and we're like, "What's happening?" But that's really the best way you can support the show. Second best way, tell your friends, grow the show. The more listeners we have, the better this is for everyone, and the easier it is for he and I to decide to continue to do this. Third way, there's some links in the comments if you want to just send us money directly. And while I have your attention and I'm shilling, if you would consider looking up offside.gg on your phone, there's a beta for an app I've been working with, and they've asked me to push Mavs fans to it. It's a really fun app video. It's a short form video app with also a ton of like various statistical I'm just trying to think even how to explain it. It's a fun app. I find myself in it a couple of times a day looking up Mav stuff. It's got really great data visualization and then fun video and stuff like that and a way to follow the league. So offside.gg. We will be right back after the insertion of these ads. Okay, good times. Noodle salad here. Thanks so much for hanging out. I will host a Mavs party if there's interest. I see my guy Tyler down there in the chat, and it's kind of a question of if Tyler wants to talk about college stuff tonight or tomorrow night. Because we're heading upon, it's March basketball for college, lots going on there. So if you're following the draft, which I'm sure you have to be at this point, even as a Mavs fan, even tangentially, then we'll see, what's going on. My friend Jamie in the chat asks, is the app only on Apple? It's actually rolling out to the other phone, Android next week. So I'll be able to talk about that soon too. That's the offside.gg. All right, let's talk about Cooper. We buried the lead a little bit. Cooper Flagg. Good Lord, are we lucky to have him?
Yeah, that was pretty awesome for not playing for 3 weeks. I know he didn't shoot the ball well. His jumper looked terrible, which that's okay. Like he hadn't played in 3 weeks, but the passing, I don't know about you. I know people probably, the block he made that almost won that almost sealed the game that led to the N1 was incredible. I think he had 4 blocks. The thing that's jumping out to me is I think he's turned a corner on his passing. Because right when he got hurt, it was kind of a shame because he was passing the ball really well. He was averaging 4 assists a game in February, and he had a game. He had 6, 4, 4, and then the last game he played in February 2, that kind of brought his average down a little bit. But it was beyond assists. Like he was reading the floor really well and making plays that were not always leading to buckets or keeping the offense moving. Maybe a guy gets fouled so he doesn't get credited for it, or it's a potential assist, guy misses a shot, or it's like the assist that lead, the pass that leads the assist. And his turnovers has been okay. They're under 3, they're under 2.5, which is, it's still high, but not too bad considering how much he's been handling the ball lately. But yeah, that's been jumping out to me. Obviously, the N1 was awesome. The blocks are awesome. That's kind of stuff that's we know he's awesome at that. Not to diminish it, but just what's raising my eyebrow the last, I would say since February, since the beginning of February, is I feel like he has unlocked a little bit of his passing, and he's really comfortable now as a ball handler in the pick and roll, even in these lineups where there's no spacing and there's no shooting, and he's like the point guard still. The fact that he's able to, he's not manipulating the floor like a Luka or a LeBron or a James Harden. He's still making kind of the plays that are presented to him, but that's still big. He just looks really comfortable. He's not forcing it. And that's what jumped out to me, especially with the long layoff, 6 assists, 2 turnovers against a Magic team that has a bunch of players designed to frustrate him. That's impressed. That was impressive to me. His passing is looking really good. And I think it might be going a little under the radar when you look, consider his more highlight worthy plays, his blocks, his finishes at the rim.
Well, the thing that I was, I really only caught the second half because of kid bedtime, but the second half he was very active defensively. One of the things we've not gotten to talk enough about other than sort of platitudes is there haven't been very many games where you look to the stat line and you're like, here is where Cooper impacted the game in a way that we can explain to someone that may not really grasp team defense because he's just doing lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Tonight he had 4 blocks and each one was like laugh out loud highlight worthy. Like he had one on Paolo where Paolo's sitting there screaming at the ref after the shot saying it was goaltending, and you watch it again and it wasn't. I mean, his impact in defensive timing, we haven't gotten to see enough of it because the Mavericks keep losing games. But if they are able to build something where, let's say, Lively's in there, and we haven't talked a lot about Lively. I think everyone's kind of probably seriously concerned about him in the sense of whether his health will maintain. But if you want to be an optimist, and I think why not, you should right now, let's assume that Lively's able to get his life together and he'll be on the floor next year with the Mavericks. He's a much better rim protector than Daniel Gafford. Daniel Gafford is a help side block guy. He's not a rim protector. He is kind of a saloon door, if we're quite honest. Cooper being able to play, patrol, and he's going to have more highlight plays like that in a different situation. And I don't know. It's really fun watching him play defense. And I think we're going to start to see more and more of that. Probably this season. I don't know. There's so many good games they have left in terms of teams that they're playing against. Maybe we'll get to see him continue to go up against guys. His energy level, after being off for 9 games, I really like that. It would probably have been easy to come out and be a little, iffy, but the fact that he is willing to put up 22 shots, I think is important. And I, you're absolutely right about the passing, because that's the sort of thing where the connective tissue of being part of a team that has a little, I don't want to say like better shootings. It feels stupid when you have 2 great 3-point shooters, but it's just the rest of the team really can't shoot. There's just not good space. And so it is what it is. But overall, like I'm glad to see him on his way back.
Yeah, absolutely.
He plays, hopefully he'll play tomorrow night, and that's against the Celtics in Boston. And there's a lot of, Bill Simmons being very thirsty for him and that sort of thing. Jason Tatum's coming back. So I just hope he plays, because that would be 2 straight Mavericks games of meaning would be nice to watch.
Yeah, for sure. The schedule is crazy, but yeah, that Boston game could be a lot of fun. I was surprised. We kind of thought he was going to come back. They
Tomorrow.
thought maybe, tomorrow. Yeah, like you said. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I hope he plays. It would be a shame if they brought him back tonight. Yeah,
I think the NBA
he has to play.
I think he almost has to play, and he looked good. And kid obviously felt good enough putting him back in. Yep. So I'm looking forward to seeing him tomorrow night. Then probably the last guy we sort of focus on here is Klay Thompson, just putting on a video game like performance. Led the Mavericks in plus minus, 7 of 12 from 3, which also happened to be all of his shots, 12 3-pointers. And he hit a couple tonight, including like moving left and right, that made me giggle, where it's like, oh yeah, this is the guy. I didn't even catch all of the various stats that Followell was throwing at us, but he has apparently made threes 3rd all time between Steph Curry and James Harden, which is a pretty amazing stat. He also completed. This was his 200th NBA game with 5 or more made threes. Like, that's 3 seasons of basketball. That's crazy. That was probably cooler to me than the like made threes combined, just because it's like, that's like, you got to be hot a lot. I had a great time watching him tonight.
Yeah, I did too. And again, just boggles my mind that he's not on a contender right now. Like, it's just crazy. But whatever. I got to stop talking about it, because we're beating a dead horse.
Yes,
but yeah, he played really well. And the one thing I'll say, in counter to, I keep talking about like, why isn't he on a contender? It's kind of crazy. Why is he on this team? But it is nice. Like, if he wasn't on this team, like, think of the spacing as it is now. And like, if he wasn't on the team, like, it does help. Like, I'm sure you can make the argument that these guys being on the team helps Cooper Flagg and makes his life easier. And yeah, maybe it leads to some games that should be closer than they should, or, they're going to win some games that they shouldn't. And maybe that messes up with their lotto odds. But also, if Klay went on the team, would Cooper Flagg just be playing against the box and 1 defense every game? Like, I'm serious. Like, so, you take the good with the bad. And I think ultimately whatever is best for Cooper's development, it probably matters more, especially now that, like, I mean, like we've said, they're not it's almost impossible for them to raise up the lottery odds. So that's one way I think we need to look at it. Even with Gafford and PJ and Clay and Middleton, and it's kind of like it's a lot of veteran old guys for a team that has, that's 21 and 41, but also it's not like Cooper isn't playing and being featured like he was. I mean, he played 26 minutes only because of minutes restriction, and down the stretch, I mean, it was his show for the most part. I know Middleton had a couple of nice possessions in clutch time, but whatever helps him develop, and if it makes the game easier for him, I think that's good.
And if I'm complaining about stuff while we're here, this is just another game where I'm like, why is Ryan Nembhard? Like, he got picked on. Yes, he finishes with a +4, 4 assists, but he gave up a 4-point play to Jalen Suggs. Javon Carter, just kind of abused him along the baseline a couple of times. And I don't know. It shouldn't matter. It's just, there's a lot of, this is a guy who's doing this, that, and the other thing. And it's not that I don't like him. It's just, I've formed and decided to form, really, I want big players on the Mavericks. Size wins out a lot of the time. And, in the upcoming draft, which we'll talk about soon, there's a few very talented, smaller than your average size guard. And I'm not interested in that. That's for now. Of course, if they get somebody, like they fall to 9th or something, and then they have to pick somebody who, I don't really love right now. It is what it is. But just watching Ryan Nembhard just get abused because he is 5'10", and I don't trust the height on some of this stuff, because it's, this has been my thing for years, where it's like, oh, hey, who's Jaden Hardy? He's 6'4", and I'm just like, no, he's not. Kyrie Irving is not 6'3". Like, I don't like the height things that we fib about have always been so weird to me, because it does make a difference for most players. Your exceptions being Fred VanVleet, Kyrie Irving, some of these other guys who have been really, really, dominant and effective despite being undersized. But more or less, if you're undersized, you're going to get picked on. That's just the way basketball works. I mean, this is just one of my weird things, I guess.
Is Ryan Nembhard your new Jaden Hardy? Like, did Jaden Hardy get traded?
No, because he's quite like, he's doing his job right now, which is effectively, makes the game entertaining, and the Mavericks are losing.
Right.
I just am sort of setting expectations for what's coming in the future, because he did sign a 2-year deal with next year. We don't even know what the terms are, but it's probably one of those that's like very, very team friendly to the Mavericks. And so ultimately, I just need to stop complaining.
Yeah.
We didn't mention this. I don't know how this slipped our mind. Cooper Flagg is the second youngest ever player to reach 1,000 career points. That's a cool little thing.
That's a good stat.
Yeah. Anything else from you?
Gafford had a pretty good game. I mean, we had Middleton like looking like Dirk in the fourth quarter, where they literally just cleared the floor on the wing and gave him the ball and post
so good.
Kept making shots. And I can see why Denver wanted him. Like, that's rumored team that wanted to get him for the stretch run. And like, I'm not surprised.
The Sunday night show, because I didn't do the Tuesday show. You and I basically took games off Sunday and Tuesday. Yeah. Sunday night shows, either Michael or Matt, one of the two of them asked me who I would prefer to keep between Clay and Middleton. If you had to keep one, if you're only allowed to keep one for next year's team, who would it be? It's a good question, right? I wait a really good time talking about it, because it's just like, I like both players a lot.
Yeah, I mean, probably Middleton. But
me and Cooper have something.
Yeah, and he'll be cheaper. And in this scenario, I'm imagining Clay is traded, maybe, if that's what it is, and you could probably get a little more.
It was more of a basketball fit, because I'm not good enough with.
If you're going to ask who can impact winning more, I mean, that's close, because Clay is. I think I said on the last pod, Clay is floor spacing in a bottle, like starter kit. Like, he is literally floor spacing onto himself.
Yep.
I don't think Chris has that kind of gravity, even if he is a more well-rounded player in terms of passing and rebounding, although he did have 6 turnovers tonight. But that's a tough one. I think I lean Middleton, but I don't think Clay is a wrong or bad answer.
Yeah, that's sort of where I am too. I don't know how the Mavericks could do it, but if they were able to somehow, let's say the Mavericks get the number 4 pick, and then they get like the I think it's Caleb Wilson out of North Carolina, something like that. And it's like, okay, you got Kyrie coming back, you got Flagg, you got Caleb Wilson, I would love to have Klay Thompson and Chris Middleton on this team, because one of the things that I think is very underrated, at least with where we are in this sort of cycle of the team. My friend Ben Thompson told me, he's like, you have the most hopeful team out of our like group chat that I'm in. Where he's like, it's like everything is pointing up, even if things don't go perfectly, it's still pointing up. And I think it'd be very fun to have these good kind of veterans on the team, because Kyrie is loved. He's beloved around the league. Chris Middleton is apparently just A+ dude. And then Klay Thompson is just fun, man. And you got to, the seasons are too long to not have some fun dudes on the team. So it's a really good question. I hope they're able to suss something out. I mean, Mark, we didn't talk about this because it happened over the weekend. But Mark Stein talked about how, who was it? It's maybe Keith and is one of these the guys who know more about the cap, who said, the part of why he stayed with Dallas is because they retain his bird rights and could potentially do a sign and trade with him, because there's not a lot of money on the free agency market. So that's the other one of those. Okay, we're at 32 minutes. We should stop talking, so we're going to talk again tomorrow night when the Mavericks play Boston. The chat decided between the two nights that I should have a Mavs party or group therapy tomorrow night, Friday night, which I think I am actually in favor of, because I am shockingly tired for 9-10.
Yes.
We're going to be playing games soon where the Mavericks start their games at 9, so we should all get our sleep while we can.
Yep.
All right. This has been fun. Thanks so much, Josh. Thanks so much, everybody hanging out. This has been Kirk Anderson and Josh Bowe of Pod Maverick. Head on over to Mavs Moneyball if you want to see some coverage of the game, and remember to consider hopping on your phone there and looking at offside.gg. All right. Everybody be good. Go Mavs.